streaming. And I'm just going to keep it on this screen right now. Because I don't want to share my screen with all my stuff on
Dave's
it.
greedy.
So I guess I'll put this on the Unnamed Podcast page.
Yes, and then we can...
let's see, Dave. I can't remember even how to find it. What do we call it in this Unnamed Podcast?
Sid and Dave's Unnamed Podcast.
How come I can't find it?
Come on, you don't have it in your shortcuts? Oh, no, it's right there on the left column. Say
Where?
Dave and Sid's. Go to the left, go down, go down, go down.
Oh, there
right
it is.
there.
Okay. I can never remember if it's Sid or Dave and Sid, because it's Dave and Sid on the title, so I tend to call it Sid and Dave's Podcast. And also nothing's working.
That's okay. It goes back and forth.
This isn't working. It's not reloading. It's stuck. I broke it.
You did too much.
Yeah.
You did.
It is streaming. Let's try this again. I don't know what I did. I probably interrupted the script during the load. Let's try it now. I feel lucky. It's taking its own sweet time. Is it because we're streaming at the same time? Let's see. I'm on YouTube, 1080p30, creative co-working scenes. I guess it's just slow. Good Lord. What's it doing? And then while this is happening, I might as well put this on Twitter.
It's like we're in dial-up.
So we're done. It's like so let's see. What is this? This is the
Oh, we're live.
yeah, we're
The
live.
internet can totally see you now.
Yeah, but so Dave's what is that? I had davidsay.com live, I think is the URL I set up for this. Yeah, this would take us directly to the channel. What is okay.
Now, did you have to register that thing, or is that just a
What do you mean?
so David Say Live?
That's on my website, so I have a redirect
okay.
that's set up for it.
I gotcha.
Behind the scenes podcast. My computer is slowing down. Something fierce. Probably because reason is... No, it's just the internet. It's just slow. I'm probably breaking it. Podcast video at... getting back in the saddle.
Yeah.
With Sid Caesar.
Hey, there I am.
Yep.
Hey, that's me.
Yep. No, oh yeah, is this on the screen? Oh, that's right. This screen is being broadcast. It's just not being on the...
Right.
So, tweet.
All right, now do I have
All right,
a
so we're
Twitter?
live there, but I don't know why Facebook is breaking on us. It's not updating. There's something wrong with it. Come on. Is this thing? Why is this not working? It's very slow. Yeah.
No, I don't want it.
Yeah, I think we're not gonna. They're not gonna worry about it.
Retweet.
It's just breaking. All right. Oh no, it's just loading. Is very slowly. Maybe the Facebook's under attack. Actually, all of my internet seems to be going very slowly. Why is that? Is anything else like hogging stuff?
Hog.
Like it's not even connecting to the internet.
Hogging.
Let me double check some settings here.
Did you break?
What's going on? This shouldn't be. I haven't had this problem before. I need to name this streaming output. It looks like it's all okay. No, it's something. Oh, it might be because I am doing this that big screen as well. I don't see anything else that's slowing everything down. What's this guy? Okay, they're just gonna go. I don't know why these websites are working. All right, here we go. All right, it's got this thing on there. That's the camera. Ready?
Yes.
Ready.
What's
Okay,
your
you're gonna
Facebook? Is DA your Facebook thing? Is it's just Dave Say? SEAH at Dave Say.
I don't know. Oh, wait, this isn't loading.
I'll tag it and I'll just...
There's something wrong with this. Oh, Facebook is slow. Let's make sure that Dropbox isn't doing something stupid. Yeah, you can just like post it. Can you reach the page?
No, I just put it on my Facebook thing.
Okay, that sounds good. It could just be the internet's slow today. Yeah, I'm seeing some dropped frames happening. Yeah,
Okay.
it shouldn't affect the podcast recording though, so that should be fine.
Okay.
So I guess that's the active camera right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's go. Okay, a 5, a 4.
Welcome to the podcast. I am photographer Sid
And
Caesar.
designer Dave Seah.
Welcome. Happy Thursday, January 25th,
Is that the 25th?
2018.
2018.
Now, our faithful 3 listeners, Elise McDonald, Kenta Koga, and Jeff Portkowski, might notice that the last time we did this was almost exactly a year ago.
Yes.
To the day. That is not on purpose. We were not purposely trying to do annual podcasts. The last year has just been full of craziness and uncertainty and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, like, what were some of the uncertainties? The last one we did was January 3rd, 2017.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about Rogue One.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't need, so January 17, I had just moved into the new studio.
Yep.
So, yeah, I guess we'll start on that. Let's talk about it. So,
Good. I'm going to turn off this AirPlay thing because it's killing the internet performance.
okay. What was that? Was that the one that goes to that?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
what goes
okay.
on. It's happening over Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. All right.
Killing everything.
So, November of 2016, we had moved into the new Picker Collaborative Artists building.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been sharing my studio with a painter for the last year. And so we had the old studio in the Picker building was about 700 to 750 square feet, thereabouts. The new space was 400. The new space is 435 square feet, thereabouts. I think it's 30 from the door to the window on the other side is about 35 feet long.
Mm.
And I think it's
like it's kind of the size of this.
13 feet wide, maybe.
This is 15 feet wide here, this part.
So imagine 2 people in that space, and basically the way we had the setup was I tried to keep the far end of the studio where the one window was free of any detritus so that I could hang paper roll backdrops and I could do, that's where all my shooting was and stuff. And the last year has been, I'd never had a roommate before, so it was sort of a social experiment for me.
Yeah.
I had never experienced that. The good thing was that the woman that I shared the space with, she really wasn't there a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad thing was that it kind of became a storage facility for her.
Oh, yeah.
So it started to accumulate with a lot of stuff, and it got really difficult to move around. And everything I had was sort of basically hung on one wall, and it just started to get really claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And it started to get really stifling. But in November of 2017, so last November, the one that just by at the end of November.
So like a couple months ago?
Yeah, maybe 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
She actually moved out. So I took the entirety of the studio on again. So I once again have my own space.
Hooray.
I've got my own elbow room.
Yay.
I'll post a link to, I took a picture of, the new layout and everything. It's so much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
My headspace is in a much better place. The last year was just like, it was a lot. There was a lot of stress. There was a lot of stress and just like, okay, it's kind of cool because I share the rent, but at the same time, I don't have a lot of room to move around in.
Right.
So I put a little more of my weight back on that I lost because I'm a stress eater, and I just started shoving stuff in my face. So that's been nice. It's relaxing. It's nice to have my own space, and everything is laid out where I want it to be, and I can actually do shoots now, and I can move around, and there's plenty of room to set things up. And
yeah. And this thing's all the toy stuff you've been doing again. So you're doing that in the studio, or are you doing the
Yeah. Especially last year, there was a couple of times where I was just like, I need to just take pictures of toys. Like I need to get in my own head, and and so I've been doing some of that. One of the things I was really excited was this company Nika, N-E-C-A. They have the license for the original Alien, the 1978 Alien film.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been doing these really cool action figures that are, I don't know what scale they are. They're larger than Star Wars figures, but and so I bought a bunch of those, and I got some smoke that comes in a can, this atmosphere aerosol stuff, and I actually made I built these little sets, and I did a couple of images from that I was really happy with, and yeah, I've been trying to just shoot more toys just because it puts me in my happy brain pan space.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. That was kind of nice, and that's pretty much been it. Was just dealing with all of that, and nothing else ever changes.
So that was a highlight of the. I'm trying to even remember what happened in 2017.
There's so much. There was like a new Star Wars movie came out.
Oh, that's right.
And there's been all kinds. How do you encapsulate a year?
I just say we start over. We just don't worry about it.
Right.
So what have you been up to the past?
You've been doing all this live stuff, which we are actually live streaming as we record this.
Behind the scenes of the podcast.
Dave's house has basically turned into a little recording studio. This is amazing. There's so many cameras everywhere, and he's got this thing with all these labels on it and switches cameras. It's absolutely you're like public access.
Well, yeah, I guess there's a kind of joy in being able to do this kind of thing. For one thing, one thing I discovered last year, which I'd known kind of for a while, was that I don't like working by myself.
Right.
And this was a surprise because I thought I liked working in isolation. I didn't like being bothered by people. I didn't like being interrupted by stupid things. And where do stupid things come from? Stupid people.
Stupid people.
But I know it's an unkind attitude to have, but I was kind of in this place, where I was like, in the existentialist crisis mode. So all this pain, nothing has any meaning other than what I imbue in it to myself, and I am so tired of making up my own reasons for doing things. And I thought it's better to work by myself, and so I was kind of happy about that for about 6 minutes, and then I was just kind of depressed all the time. Plus on top of no meaning, no career, there was no. How do you say it? There was no sense of mission. I guess I like a sense of mission, and I like a sense of epic mission. So it's not we're going to finish this report by 5 p.m. and then we're going to go home and watch Game of Thrones. Exactly. That sounds awful to me. I still haven't seen Game of Thrones. Maybe
you're not missing anything.
But so it says, no, we are going to go and forge a new piece of software that has never been seen. Me and my friend Og, who is a specialist in hand-to-hand software combat, and this person here, who is an expert bladesman in the user interface design, and we will create an experience that will have people wetting their pants with glee. And then we will sell them laundry detergent and make money on the laundry detergent. Something that's beyond just like I'm shuffling papers and going home and checking in. But I was feeling like I was checking in all the time. It was very difficult to be motivated, and so I was before November. I started recognizing that I needed more of a sense of community. I started live streaming just to play with the technology at first. I wasn't sure what I was going to go any place, and then I figured out how to connect Discord, which is a video game voice chat server.
Okay.
It's kind of like Slack, if you've heard of that. That's a thing that everybody uses for communication. It's like a big chat room for companies, and so you can you can share documents. You can fill it sort of fills the place in where instant message used to be in some organizations. So you can be sitting in your cubicle, and then you can say, hey, Sid, you want to head out to lunch, or hey, do you have that paper, or do you remember at that meeting we were talking about this? You remember? So you don't have to get up and go and bother someone in person. You can go. You can use a secondary channel. Slack is kind of like that for businesses. Discord is for gamers. And the nice thing about Discord compared to Slack is Discord allows you to have public rooms. And so I thought, it might be nice to have a chat room, and then I can connect it to YouTube, and let me just see how this all works. Because I was just curious. No one wants to see my ugly face on YouTube or. And what I started doing was I started doing the co-working stuff. So let me just try sharing my screen and showing what I want to do. So here I am using Photoshop, or here I am, writing a blog post. Really boring stuff. I thought no one was watching it. And to this one guy, emailed me. I'd been posting these things in the co-working playlist on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it was sort of hours of me typing and just kind of complaining and swearing. And so it's like, it's not the kind of content you share with people. It's like, hey, are you really, really, really bored? You want to see something even more boring than your life?
Me typing.
Me typing and swearing at it. But this guy emailed me and said, are you still making co-working videos? And I'm going, yeah. And I was kind of braced for something like, you should stop doing that. But
don't do that.
It turns out it's like, because I've gone through all of them, and I'm wondering if there's going to be any more of them. And I'm
wow.
What? Why are you watching these? And it turns out he was a professor of engineering in the Netherlands. And he had been putting them on in the background as he's grading papers.
Wow.
He says there's something about them that, when I'm grading papers, doing this sort of thing, it's nice to have in the background. And I heard this from a few other people, too, that says, they just put it on and it's kind of like this presence. And so, okay, at least there's one guy in the Netherlands who's watching these things, so I might as well keep doing this. And so then I started, sort of playing with the format. And so what I found is, even when I was stuck, when I had to do something that, for some billable project. Yeah. So the current projects I'm on are funded by the National Science Foundation. They're public grants. So they're not grants that were for me, but I'm working for someone who got them, and I'm doing the support system programming for the learning stuff. But because of that, it's all public. The government, the public is paying for it, so I don't feel bad about streaming me coding the work of it. It's not like I'm doing this for a private client.
Right.
And I found that if I was streaming, even if no one was watching, that it still felt I was working with someone. It was like half of the interaction. It's not like being a peer programmer. So I'm sharing stuff, and sometimes someone would watch, and sometimes someone would say something, and there was something about that, and I realized from that interaction, I could bring you all the way this all the way back to the beginning. But there's something about working with other people that I miss, and apparently I don't like working by myself. Yeah. If I'm working with someone else to do something, then I'm much more motivated. Yep. And just accepting that rather than going, why am I so weak? Why can't I just work on things by myself? Just saying, I need to have other people around doing stuff. Right. And so I've been changing the way that I've been working and interacting with other people. I know that there has to be that face-to-face. I know that there has to be some equal level of commitment to talking about the project and moving forward with it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't. If they don't care, I don't care. It's kind of how it is. Right. So figuring out how to tie that in with my other stuff, so I can build things that I can sell, build things that I can share. That was 2017 for me. Yeah. Figuring that stuff out. The two good things that came out of 2017 were figuring out how to do the YouTube live streaming stuff, and then setting all this stuff up, this switcher thing, and I had to figure out how to code that, and then setting up the Macintosh scenes so they all worked correctly and everything.
It's so intricate. There's so much going on.
There is a lot. And again, just figuring out these camera setups, buying extenders for the USB connectors, buying this Thunderbolt dock that would allow me to run more than one camera off a computer at the same time. So that was one thing. And the other thing was the Discord chat room, which is our co-working chat. Mm-hmm. And I made that an extension of davidseah.com, the brand, so to speak. But, so I'm saying, I originally thought this would be my office hour thing, and I would that would be my way of chatting, communicating with people on YouTube, because the YouTube chat doesn't, when someone types into it, I don't even know if anyone has, probably not, but, there's 3 people watching right now.
Nice.
I don't know who they are. Hi, people. But what was I saying? The YouTube chat doesn't make a noise when someone says something, so I would be going on for 30 minutes.
No, and you wouldn't know if somebody was hanging out.
Right. But in Discord, you actually notice it. You can actually hear its noise, or there'll be an alert or something like that. So I can look at it and type into it. And also, I figured out that I can actually talk live with people, voice, using Discord as the conduit. Wow. So I actually figured that stuff out, and I thought, I had the Discord server set up, and it's just me, my cousins, and one friend, and we're just playing games, and we get in here when we're doing squad stuff. Right? Huh. It's supposed to be a better version of TeamSpeak. You can but no. So then I just opened this up to virtual co-working because I was thinking, I wonder if that will work.
Yep.
Well, like, because we've tried real co-working before.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with co-working, that's when a bunch of people who don't have like a place of employment.
Yep.
It's you go somewhere. And
you can go to a
out.
dedicated space where other people
right.
are sitting at tables with laptops.
Yeah, other people are working. So
Yeah.
a lot of people go to a coffee shop and work there. But a co-working space is a little bit more intentional. You're there to be congregate and be social a little bit.
Right.
And so the Discord co-working chat room, as I'm calling it, I said, I'm doing this thing. I put something on my website. And a few people have been trickling in every month. And so we have a good bunch of regulars now. And it actually has helped a lot with the feeling of not working by myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I'd say initially most of the people who have come in, I would say we would have maybe 15 or 20 regulars right now.
Wow.
And which is enough to have a sense that this place is alive.
Yeah.
That's the hard part when you're starting something like this, to create that sense that it is alive. And they're all over the world, too.
Right.
So we have most of the time zones covered. So there's always someone there.
That's excellent.
And people will pop in. And I have terrible hours, too. So I'm sometimes up at 4 a.m. and so.
What's the average number of people that are usually in the room at the same time?
Let's see. Well, I would say right now we're kind of at peak times in Europe. It's getting toward the end of the day in Europe.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. And I'll put this on the screen here so you can see it over there.
Look at that.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow! Now, so all those people on the right column are.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's larger than this. Look at the online. There's like 17 people.
Yeah, some of these people might just be logged into Discord itself.
Oh, okay.
So some, like I know, like my cousin Brian is probably not in the room paying attention. This person is playing a game.
But still, I mean, like that's larger than some companies.
That's like, I suppose
that's pretty cool. Though.
The people who are actually here, probably the people. The purple people are people who are supporting me on Patreon.
Okay.
That's the other thing I did last year. So I guess there were 3 things. Integrating this stuff with Patreon and then daring to ask, if you like what I'm doing, you can give me $1 a month.
That's cool.
And a few people signed up. So it's not a huge amount of money.
Good job, Patreon supporters.
Yeah, so it's all kind of integrated together. The co-working, the YouTube streaming, the Patreon, this need to have a community to connect with and share with. So there are some perks that you get if you are if you're supporting me on Patreon and you're in the Discord. Like there's a special, I can show you this here. There's a studio chat room in which if you are a patron, you can actually talk to me about like the stuff that I'm working on directly. Nice. It's kind of my private inside studio chat. Yeah. You also get the access to this, but read only if you are a regular of the co-working chat. And a regular is someone I've defined as someone who's said something at least a few times over a period of a month. If they're still here after a month talking, then they get marked as a regular, and then they can see what's in here.
Huh.
And additionally, I also release perks. These are downloads people can grab the stuff that I've worked on, and only if you're a patron or if you're a regular, you get access to this. Okay. So I'm encouraging people who are really participating in our co-working community.
Right.
These are people who I've grown to know, and other people have grown to know. So, I trust them. I don't want randos coming in,
right,
and just clicking on everything and grabbing it. So it's just a lot, but everything else is still free. So, it's an interesting way just to kind of expand in a different direction to doing more media stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. So that was. Other than that, I didn't really do anything in 2017. Everything was related to making this space work as a co-working space, or as improve my online presence. But I haven't done any writing. I haven't done any marketing stuff for the products I'm making. I haven't developed anything new.
Right.
I've been sort of expanding this speaking experience. Right. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I've just kind of been not around a lot.
Yeah.
So it's there was a lot of work going on. Oh, hey, kitty. And
is our production manager right here? Is our production manager? Cat on the table.
Get on the table. Is this the right camera? Yeah. Okay, he's back on the camera. Kitty. Oh, that's my cat. That's my
hair of the cat.
All right. This is great. Look, we have a.
We get a little cat bed.
Yeah, you're allergic though, right?
Do you long hair.
Shots?
No, I have. That was that was my. Oh, you can hear him purring.
Yes.
Purrcast. Yeah, I had always grown up around cats. I had cats my entire life.
Look at them off the table.
And then
I just want you to break out and die.
Many, many years ago, it seemed like all the time I was getting bronchitis. Like, and it was just, I mean, it would like knock me out, and I'd be down for like 6 or 7 weeks. And there were times where I had things scheduled that I had to cancel because I'm like, I literally, like, my chest is, it feels like it's going to explode, and I can't, like, I couldn't even start to talk without coughing my brains out. And this was going on year after year after year. And so I started, when Sarah got insurance through her work, I started to go to the doctor. And they had done everything from like stress tests to breath tests to lung, this, that, and the other thing with lungs. And I had x-rays on my lungs. And then at one point, one of the doctors I was seeing, she thought blood particulates were coming up from my legs and they were getting inside my lungs. And she was like, my father had that. She's like, and they never detected it early. And he was paralyzed from the waist down because of it and all this crazy stuff. And they did like ultrasounds on my leg, like everything, every part of my body has been looked at this point. And they could never figure it out. They were like, okay, we'll just throw a Z-Pack at you and you know, whatever, it'll go away.
A Z-Pack?
Yeah, it's like some zithromycin or something like that. And then finally one day Sarah said, have you ever had an allergy test? And I'm like, no. So I went in and they do that thing where they've got the things and they prick your arms on both sides and everything. And so they do it and they leave and I'm watching my arms. And then all of a sudden in certain areas, they start to bump up. And then in this one particular injection or whatever, like it turned into this giant swollen thing. And I was like, what? What's going on? So the doctor comes in and he's going through this list and he's like, okay, he's like, you're allergic to some kind of a grass and like dust and pollen and all this junk. And then he's like, do you have any animals? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, do you have any cats? And I'm like, yeah. And he points at that largest swollen thing and he goes, you're allergic to cats. And I'm like, I've been around cats my entire life. Like this only started like within the last 6 or 7 years. And he was like, sometimes it starts. He's like, maybe in the future. He's like, sometimes it just completely goes away. He's like, but that big lump, he's like, that's what's going on in your lungs. He's like, every time you. So since then, our entire apartment is filled with giant air purifiers that run 24/7. I have one directly next to the bed.
Right.
Because I was like, you know what? No, like I'm not going to not get cats just because I'm allergic to them.
Yeah.
How American. And so there was a period when Yoshi and Gromit, when they both died, we waited about 6 months. And then I was like, I can't not be in a house without animals. Like to me, it was one of the weirdest feelings in the world, not having little. So we got Miggs and Jonesy. Yeah. And I got it. It came back the first like 2 weeks that I got them. But since then I haven't had any attack at all. And I take, I take allergy medicine, allergy pills once a day and stuff like that. But they're both really short hair. So I don't know what long hair production manager over here is, how long I can be around that before things start to freak out.
How do you feel like?
My eyes are starting to water a little bit.
Yeah.
I can feel kind of watery. But I don't feel it in my throat or anything like that.
Okay, so let me know. Like there's an air freshener right next to you.
Is that what that big thing is?
Yeah, that running 24/7, just to cutting down on it. But he does have dander and stuff.
But I love my cats. I love my cats. And my Yoshi, not Yoshi. She already died. Miggs and Jonesy are just, oh my God.
What was the reason behind the names Miggs and Jonesy?
So Jonesy is the name of the cat that was in the Alien movie.
Oh.
The first Alien movie, the cat that was running around on the ship. Okay. The one that she has to go back and try to save while it's so much tension at the ending of that movie. Right. And then Miggs is actually a Russian plane, a Russian missile. It's a type of Russian missile. Really? And yes, and it started because we used to watch Air Force One, the movie with Harrison Ford, a lot. And there was a scene where they shoot some MiGs at the plane, and they were like, incoming MiGs, and then the guy goes, did they say MiGs? And then we saw a couple other movies where they said the same thing, and we were like, haha, MiGs would really be funny to like name an animal. So when we got these two, we were like, okay, we have to name this one MiGs.
Yeah.
So
MiGs is short for MiG. MiG is the acronym for Russian aircraft manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
They're known specifically for, during the movies you're thinking of, the MiG-15, which was the big Cold War jet.
Okay.
The MiG-17, the MiG-21. So when they're saying MiGs are coming, they're saying planes are coming in.
Oh, all right. So it's a
they're
plane,
not
not a missile. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go.
There you go. But
so she's
still,
named for a plane. That's pretty badass. So yeah, and they're absolutely. I'd never had a boy cat before. And Jonesy he's like a teddy bear. He's the most cuddly cat. I mean, you just look at him and he flops over on his back with his legs. It's amazing. And Miggs she's a little smarter than he is. I think she's like 100% Abyssinian. And he is
really nice.
Yeah, she is a shoulder cat. She is constantly on my shoulders. Like she has to be
jump up and
she jumps up and then she gets on there and she'll fall asleep or she'll lay. It's like she's crazy.
Great. Yeah.
And then both of them, he learned after her, but they both play fetch, which I've never had cats that play fetch before. And we've got these little spring toys. You throw them, and she'll run across the room and she grabs it, and she brings it back and drops it in my hand. Absolutely incredible. So that is worth being taking allergy pills for because. They make me so happy. Yeah. And then what else has been it's just like, how do we encapsulate a year? So I'm still doing stuff with Dead Pixel, which is Atlanta photographers.
Still doing stuff?
So we haven't done any blog posts, but he just recently launched a community, it's like a paywall community. So he sets up this community, and the way he set it up is it's for 6 months. People pay him. I think what he's going to do is pretty much stay off social media except for this community, and he's going to be available all the time. Every member has to come up with a project, and then basically it's a website where you're held accountable for what you're doing, and then you check in, and he monitors everything. And so all of January is sort of the enrollment period, and then on February 1st he kills. That's it. You can only sign up for January, and then it goes 6 months, and then he'll do it again.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of almost like a host. It kind of reminds you of the co-working stuff that we're doing. Yeah. So it's more of a hosted, photography. This is
and it's closed, so he can post stuff that he normally wouldn't be able to post because only the people that are subscribing are able to access that. So he can get a little more behind the scenes and a little more honest about certain things and stuff. And then there's another photographer in in Phoenix, Don Giannetti, who I think I tried to introduce you to him at one point because he was referencing your task management forums and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
He's been in the commercial photography universe for it seems like 40 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's another one. He's got a very large online following and presence. And
sweet.
And I started with him because he was just looking for people to interview. Yep. And so I threw my hat into the ring, and I guess he really liked the way I thought and what I had to say and stuff. So he brought me. I'm on a board, so he has the same thing. It's a closed community. It's called the Project 52 or 52. Yeah, Project 52, and that's assignment driven, but it's also he's accessible for anything to try to help you professionally to advance. And he's every time I go on the Facebook page, I mean, there's a lot of action going on there, and I haven't, because I've been so busy with the Dead Pixel stuff and getting involved, I haven't transitioned between the two of them yet. There's a, so that's kind of cool. So I like, it's nice. It's not, I like being part of these communities. It's weird because apart from you and some other people that we know in Nashua, it's hard to sort of find my tribe, so to speak. Is that it? Are we at the end?
Yeah, we have about 2 minutes.
Oh my God. So it's nice online to find these people that have, I can reach out. And I had one woman, some guy in somewhere, his daughter had seen the inspiration video that I did with the puppet for Dead Pixel that I did a couple of years ago.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he wrote, and he left a comment on this closed community, and he was like, my daughter was so, influenced by that. He's like, she now wants to do something in the creative fields.
Nice.
And I'm like, just because so I kind of like that. So that was one of the other things that was going on. And this year I'm hoping I'll be able to get more into that now that I actually have a space where I can move around and I'm not constantly worried about so that's been pretty good.
Yeah. In the next segment, let's try recording a bunch of these. We'll just keep going until we get hungry or something like that. But something to think about. Something you said about that daughter of that person being inspired. I want to follow up on that.
Okay.
This idea of the sharing community.
Yep.
And we could get into some of the goals that I'm thinking of this year. I'm thinking of being more irresponsible in 2018 because I find maybe I'm overly responsible, or I feel guilty about not being responsible enough, or whatever that is, and that just makes me stressed out and unhappy. So we can talk about that when we come back. So good stuff. Good
Very
stuff.
good.
Who we need to think about who we want to get on the show this year. Do you think we can get Jeff Barkowski?
Jeff, if you're listening, you need to come on the show.
You need to come on
the show.
Yeah, he's allergic to cats, though, isn't he?
He might be.
Yeah, that's the issue. You know?
I mean, well, yeah, because I was gonna say we could do it at the studio, but you've got a. This is a big thing. But we could do a condensed version of that.
We could. I have a portable setup that we can use. But that's it. That's I'm designer Dave Seah.
I am photographer Sid Caesar.
And that's the podcast now.
And we're going to do another one right after this. But thanks for listening to this one. Listen to the other one that we're going to do. The music provided by Michael Bellar and the Azaz Ensemble. And you can visit him at michaelbellar.com. Used with permission. Because he's amazing.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Word
up. Dear mother.
Okay, that's one.
Yay.
Let me adjust the end of this.
My phone is making lots of buzzing.
Oh, is it? You need...
Hi, Sarah.
Oops, what happened here? How come I can't move this? Move, damn it. You piece of junk. I don't actually need... We didn't actually record any audio of this, so it's...
We didn't?
Oh, not any, actually, computer sound effects.
Just
erasing it. I'm going to just play this back. I don't know if they'll come out.
Happy Thursday. I had just moved into... We had moved into the 20. Nice to have my own space and everything is laid out where I want.
Okay, so that's going. So I'll save this. Let me make a new copy. Do podcast 80. So maybe we can get some of these buffered up there, right?
Yeah.
This will be 80. All right, so we are ready for the next one. Oops, oh, we're almost ready. And so I'll just share my screen. People who are watching, anyone watching the live stream, hey guys, hope you enjoyed watching that. Let's see, there's no one. That's two people watching, so they're not in the chat room.
Hello, two people.
Hello, two people.
Thanks
if you
for
got any
watching.
ideas for things that you might want to see what we talk about, feel free to type that in.
We are streaming live, so please send in your questions or comments or critiques.
Thanks for watching. We're going to do another one.
Another one.
All right. So this is just done saving.
Awesome.
Let's see. Hey, Kenta Koga is watching.
Kenta Koga!
Dude, Kenta. Wow. Let's see. That's the next one we're going to do.
Yay, look at Kenta.
Right.
Kenta and his two babies.
Yeah. So what's this episode? Kenta.
The Koga family has multiplied by 2.
2? What?
Well, they've got 2, right?
They do?
They have 2 now.
When?
Yes.
What?
Claire just had another one.
Really?
Well, I'm saying just had another one, but it was
super exciting.
Oh, he's eating his Chinese takeaway.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, he moved to Londonderry?
What's out in Londonderry? Is there any good Chinese food?
No, I just read a thing that they're going to try to build a main street in Londonderry. Like there's a big giant parcel of land and they're going to literally try to build a main street and structures and buildings and I thought he was in Londonderry, but I could be wrong.
You might be right about that. Let's save this again.
That's right. He's been out of Nashua.
The place,
352 days apart, man. Look at that.
Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. First one's here. Here we go.
Okay. So I made sure I saved that one. I'm going to save this next one. Because I wasn't sure if I saved it before making the duplicate. That's what I was concerned about. So we're going to number 80. And it's going to take a while. 749 megabytes. Let's see, let's delete these. We can rewind it. And so, it's nice. I like this format because we can sit and I can write stuff down.
I like this. It's nice and relaxed.
And so like the live stream is just kind of a bonus thing. But being able to take down the notes for things. So these are show notes for number 79, which we'll have to do so I am giving you that responsibility.
Okay.
And for number 80, what kind of things are we going to talk about? We haven't talked about Star Wars yet, but
no,
that could be a whole episode.
Yeah.
Although you don't want to spoil it for people too, because there might be some people who see it. Well, we could just say
our like how it made us feel.
Yeah, feelings. It's all about feelings.
Movie feelings. Have you seen Baby Driver yet?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
we just watched that last night.
Okay. Well, we'll do. We can talk a little bit about the sharing communities, Star Wars. Let's just see what happens.
We can talk about what got you into buying toys. I want to.
Oh yeah. We should. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to catch up on. So we can do like a month's worth.
Like your themed things. Like this is the toy and movie podcast. And
okay. We could say today is. Well, if we don't say the date, then we don't have to tie this to a specific time.
It could be whenever.
So leave it. So let's have the day. We could just say we'll say we're recording today on this. We're catching up for like a
this
year
podcast
of
has been
podcasts.
Previously recorded. Yes, please, we will not be taking any calls.
Yeah. So and we can also bump those or something like that. So this could be like a filler.
Yeah.
If we're not doing one, we'll just release something that we're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. Media strategy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes. We're learning. See, we're learning how this works.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready? So, okay, let's make sure everything is turned on. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think the reason why I was having internet problems before is I forgot to turn off the NDI monitor on this. So that was sending live video and saturating the network. So it seems to be working better now.
Oh, good.
We have some dropped frames, but the podcast behind the scenes stuff isn't such a big deal. All right, I'll open on this one, I guess.
We're not saying the date, right? We're just saying.
Yeah, so let's put the slate back to here. Start from 0. Hey, is that showing up there? No. So yeah, this is what's currently being shown. This screen here, the OBS control.
You got to update those pictures.
Yeah. These are pretty old. We're thinner back then, though.
I was a little more pudgy back then.
Really?
Yeah. Yep, that was before I started trying to cut back on sugar.
I need to show. I need to get used. Like when I'm doing this more live streaming stuff. I've been concerned about my appearance. So I make sure I wear pants. For basic stuff like that, right? But I started I went to Ulta and I asked them how do you cover up this stuff? Yeah, like these zits and things like that. And they showed me when I bought the stuff. I need to show you how this stuff works.
Oh really?
So I'll go get it real quick.
I was watching a lightsaber review online one time. The guy was doing an unboxing, and he literally didn't have pants on, and so he had to edit out the fact that he wasn't wearing pants when he stood up to get something. He's like, "Oh, hold on," and then it cuts, and he was like, "I had to cut because I wasn't wearing any pants."
Incidentally, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's coming through the microphone.
This is so strange.
The headset.
You're running around the house now with your headset.
Yeah, it's running around the house. That's because you're on the headset. This is going through the wireless microphone. I can't hear what you're saying, but. Because I don't have wireless.
Well, in that case, I hope you don't do this from the bathroom.
I've been trying to find something that's good.
Because that would be really weird. Listening to Dave P.
I guess it's called a wireless monitor. But, they're expensive.
Oh.
Yes, all right. So we're getting ready to record the next one. Let me reset this. So I just saw that there's 3 people watching now. Hello, third person. Welcome. We're recording podcast today. I wish there was a way to get these cameras to light up so we know which one is actually switched. But that would be nice. So, yeah, check this out. So this is a primer, which smooths stuff out. Huh. And this is like a skin tone matched color thing.
Really?
So it builds.
So is that matched to your personal skin
tone? It
tone?
is. Yeah, the salesperson, you try stuff up and they show everyone, wow! But we can go into that at some point. Makeup is awesome.
Get our powder puff.
Yeah, I want to figure out so if we're doing taking photos and stuff like that, being able to just even out blemishes so there's less,
We should there's a what is the proper word for that? Esthetician? There's one in the complex right behind our building.
You should go visit.
Yeah, we could ask him about how do you
we could bring them on the podcast. Actually, I should set up the mobile setup so we can do it. A lot of it should be portable. Let's get going on this, okay? Hopefully I haven't fucked anything up. So you can't swear on the actual podcast. You can swear
in between. Okay.
In between is fine because it's YouTube.
This
is a filthy place. Yeah, but our rating on iTunes is clean.
Oh.
So if anyone's drops a bad word, I actually had to spend hours editing this stuff out.
All right.
And it takes hours because I
didn't swear in the last one.
I don't think you did.
I usually don't swear.
Yeah, I make a note if anything swears. So I know saying fuck. Oh, well, now we're just going to fuck it.
Don't say it. Don't hit that button and say that.
I guess we could set it the explicit flag for the podcast.
No.
For the episode. But okay, we're going to go. You ready?
Okay.
5,
Yep.
4. Welcome to the podcast. I'm designer Dave Seah.
And I am photographer Caesar.
And we are recording a second episode in a row on, what is it, Thursday, January 25, 2018.
2018.
But you may be listening to this at some time in the future. We got everything just set up. It took about an hour to set up all the cameras and stuff like that.
This is, there's a lot of stuff going on here.
On my YouTube channel right now.
It is. You should tell public access and they can use you as a remote thing. Like
no. As I was saying in the last podcast, one of the things in 2018 is I want less responsibility.
Oh.
I want to be less responsible.
Okay.
Because, well, I don't want to be responsible. And I don't mean to say I don't want to be, a lazy, see, I almost said
that's what you're saying? You want to be
I don't want to be some lazy poop head. But this is the thing. So when I think about being responsible, I think about being the ideal productive person that I should be, because I know being productive is good for bringing money in. It's also good for the reputation. It's good for status in the community. I generally don't care about that kind of stuff, but the people I do care about, I don't want to let them down. One of my biggest fears, one of my biggest anxieties is letting people down, people that I care about. It really, really, really bothers me. It bothers me so much that I don't even like if I'm playing like some sort of game or something like that, and I miss a goal or something like that. Like I feel terrible, I've let them down, or if I forget, if I'm late for a meeting, or if I'm late to go someplace, I'd like to be there a little bit early. If I'm late and I made someone have to wait for, God forbid, I feel terrible. On top of that, I guess I'm a freelance designer developer, and it's important. I have to make sure, since I just turned 50 in December. Gee, I know, right?
50.
It's crazy. How do you get that many years? Not just keel over, but I have to be concerned now about how am I going to retire? Right? I don't have a giant 401k. I haven't worked for a big corporation.
We're never going to be able to retire.
Yeah, and so the things I need to do now, I need to be building things, and I have some stuff in motion. Yeah. Things like the emergent task planner pads I've been making. Yep. I'm fortunate to have a little bit of an audience for the design work that I do, and I've met a lot of interesting people through that. But to build some kind of self-sustaining business empire, one that will fit in my hand and will not let that hand be empty when I'm 60, 60 and can't move anymore, and what if I lose my eyesight? All these things that I worry about. Right. And so the past almost 10 years now, I've been trying to build this thing. I think I started it really around 2007, 2008, trying to learn how to be a self-sufficient, creative person. Because I just didn't want to work for someone else and do what they were told, because I was kind of done with that by 2003, 2004. Yeah. And I said, I should be smart enough. I should have the willpower. I should have the ability to put together, you take the talents that I have and put together something that doesn't suck, that people like, that people will gladly give me money for. And, damn it, what is that?
Right. What is it? What is it?
So and I think important around that time, around 2004, around 2005, really, I started blogging, because that was a way of having a marketing website where I talked about what I did. Yep. I could disseminate my knowledge, and but not be really corporate about it. Here's my list of services. Here's my list of clients. I'm a proactive, go-getting designer. That the kind of copy that sort of frames you as this ideal. Yeah. And I was kind of tired. I just wanted to have regular conversations with people and say, what are you doing? That's very interesting. You want to hear some thoughts about that? Or they come to me and says, Dave, I know that you have interesting thoughts about this. You want to talk about it? And so I like that approach to doing things. Yeah. And so having a blog, 2004, 2005, WordPress 1.0 was just out. So I thought I could have a conversation that way. But I discovered, because I joined this blog network, and some of the work I did captured the attention of people. That was the original, what I called then the printable CEO, which was that a CEO that told me what to do. I designed it and put it on paper, I wouldn't have to hire somebody to tell me what to do. It seemed much cheaper. Yeah. And so realizing that I had the ability not only to make things and share that people liked, but also to just talk about my experiences. And I mean, that happened maybe in 2005, 2006. I remember Jeff Porgowski being concerned at that time, our friend Jeff, because I wrote the first personal piece I wrote on it. He left us some sort of comment about that implied that he was concerned that for my mental health. Really? Yeah, it wasn't it was very different than anything I'd posted publicly. You know how when you know someone for a long time and suddenly they act different, and what's making that? Is there something going on there? And is that person? Should I be concerned? I mean, people generally don't talk about personal stuff, but that's when I started doing that. And I realized that one thing that was really important to me was to be the author of my own thoughts and to present myself just by speaking in my own words. But how do you turn that into, that's a very different model. I think back then it was less clear than it is now. Yeah. Some 15 plus 14 years, 12 years later, whatever it is. To how to do that. So, but anyway, going back to the whole responsibility thing, is that I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to turn myself into a successful personal entrepreneur that does work based on my values and my interests, and not sell out and not be fake and not tell people what they want to hear just because I want to get money out of their wallet. Yep. Yeah, you know what it's like.
I am not. That's the reason why I'm not better business sense. I know other people in the area. I know other photographers that Sarah calls it, they know how to play the game. Yep. And I can't, it's not, I just can't do it. It's so fake to me. Yeah. There was a friend of mine I hadn't seen in a really long time, and he started working for some new company. This was a couple of years ago. And I think part of his new position was he was supposed to develop network connections or whatever. And so he calls me and we're talking on the phone, and the corporate garbage speak that was coming out of his mouth, I was just like, this is what? I couldn't. I was gonna throw up. It's just so generic and corporified, and I can't speak BS. I just can't do it. And it's either that's a plus or it's a detriment. I just can't exist in that ecosystem. I'd rather just be as honest as possible. And I realize there are people that'll take advantage of that, or my stupidity or my naivety or whatever. But it's I can't. I'd rather get somebody in the studio and we're just having a normal conversation, and this is who I am, and this is what I'm trying to do, and this is who you are, and this is what you're trying, and just exchange that story, because you don't, down the road, you don't know. I've always found that the best kind of clients are people that they just want to have a simple, honest conversation. Yeah. And sometimes that's hard in the confines of, a 2-hour photo shoot. But I think I have the studio, I've always tried to set it up so that the minute you walk in, you're comfortable. Yeah, there's nothing in the studio that does not show who I am, and it's and that's one of the reasons why I try to populate the blog so much, is that sometimes people are interested and they want to know who I am, and they go on the blog and they read about and they come and they'll read about toys or whatever, and then they come in the studio and there's game posters and there's toys and there's this and there's that and there's stuff that they can identify with, so that when they walk in, they already feel like they know me. Yeah. And I like that, and it's basically like Sid's toy shop when you walk in there. Yeah. But I can't exist in that corporified look. I want it to be comfortable and relaxing, and it's there's more to business than suit and tie and being uncomfortable and in corporate speak and so I know I've lost accounts because I just can't. I'm comfortable in jeans and a sweatshirt. That's my work attire. I can't dress up. It shouldn't have to be. I don't know where I'm going. I'm totally blabbering on, but yeah, I totally know where you're coming from.
I was listening to you. I was just just monitoring stuff.
And I got a little more gray in my beard since the last time we.
That's true. Let's compare that to the slate.
I can't wait until.
That's like, how old is that? Yeah, there's no gray in that
no,
picture.
look at this. I got this nice
crazy.
little gray patch. I love it. It's my wizard's beard.
Oh, it is.
And I'm hoping someday, even over here, I noticed I've got a lot more coming in on the sides.
It is pretty wizardy.
I love white beards.
Yeah, so
don't live stream my beard.
No, I'm not going to live stream. I'm just going to take a picture of it. There you go. So we can post that on the.
Anybody wants to see Sid's facial hair close up?
Yeah. So figuring out how to, so going back to what was I talking about, like being less responsible.
Yep.
The responsibility I have to myself is, well, I need to make money. I need to bring in stuff, but I want to do it under certain conditions.
Yep.
One of the conditions is by having my authentic voice be part of the business transaction.
Yep.
That actually that rules out quite a number of potential clients, because I would say that the mainstream business posture one has is not to be too personal.
Yeah.
There's a certain facade, there's a certain level of appearances that I think a lot of companies have, because they don't want to offend anybody, they want to be as inclusive as possible. Yep. And then there's also the sense that people have a different sense of what's proper.
Yeah.
I remember once when I was working for another company, we were bidding against a bunch of other small companies. They wanted a website done, and I went in there and I was running this meeting, and I was noticing as I was pitching that the president of the company was there, and there was like maybe 6 or 7 other people plus some of the contractors they used. And I noticed that the room was really quiet. I was speaking, I'm speaking now, and asking people questions and being pretty dynamic, I thought.
Yeah.
And I noticed no one was saying anything when they asked a question. I made a comment about it, that there was I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was to the effect, just to make sure people were hearing it, and that they did feel invited to say something like that.
Yeah.
I heard back later that someone who knew one of the contractors in the room, who was like a copywriter, was highly offended and shocked that he would even call that out. And it's just because it kind of crossed a line for this person, that I would bring in, why are you so quiet? To ask people that.
Huh.
Is it that this? Is it that? But on the other hand, we got the job because the president who was in there says, I like the way you did that. You just I pushed.
Yeah,
I tried to get an interaction to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that guy was cool. He's the one who told me about this idea of the touch of the doorknob, which we can talk about some other time. Right. But yeah, so there's so I would say that was a good example of here's a bunch of people who are playing it safe in their company versus people who want to talk and be real. It's not being manipulative, but it's really about what really is bothering you, and to be able to trust each other to say that. But trust is earned, of course.
Yeah.
One way I think I try to engender that trust, and I think you're doing this too with your blog, is I try to share as much about myself as possible, like on the blog and even these live streams. I talk about stuff that's kind of personal, maybe offends some people, but not on purpose. It's maybe offensive because maybe they're not comfortable with the idea.
Right.
It's really more of that than this. I'm trying to get somebody.
I can't imagine what it's like trying to live this dual thing where it's business, you have to be one way, and then when you're not doing business stuff, you can be another. I had somebody that used to comment on the fact that I would blog, occasionally I would say things on the blog or whatever about how hard it is doing what we're doing. Mm-hmm. It's hard, and sometimes there's just no work, and sometimes it's blah 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 blah, and they're you can't say things like that because that makes possible clients not want to work with you because it doesn't seem like you're and I'm but that's the reality of this stuff. This is how this is. I would rather hear from somebody that's being honest about what they're trying to do than to put this fake veneer on and just be everything is cool and there's no problems at all and everything is awesome and I can't. It's no, it's not. It's a grind and it's hard, and it's especially when you're trying to make your own path. Right. And people need to know that because it's
Yeah, I can see the other other person's thought. All right, so I think there's 2 ways you can deal with it. You can say it's hard. This is the way it is, and I'm just saying that's how it is, and then you stop, and that does make people uncomfortable. However, if you can say and this is what I'm doing about it. Right. So then it takes the responsibility away from the person who's listening to it. So like in the co-working chat room that I have, there's not very many rules in it, but one of the rules is if you're going to vent, put vent in front of it, because when there was this one person in there who, when they were venting, you didn't know where they were coming from, and should I be concerned, like, or should I? And it would create stress, like in the chat room, and no one would say anything because no one knew what to say.
Right, you don't know what to.
But when you say I'm venting, and you don't have to pay attention to this, I just need to get this out of my chest. Then people, okay, you're venting, and we're not worried about you.
Right.
We know you're blowing off steam. So that kind of awareness, not a lot of people. It's not as common as maybe we'd hope, and you can see it in like how thin-skinned people are on social media sometimes. Yeah, like they assume that if you're talking about anything, you must be talking about them, and you must be against them because you don't agree 100% with them, or they feel on the spot, and they're testing them now, and that's mean, and and then they lash out. So I think part of my responsibility, even though I'm trying to get away from responsibility, but one essential responsibility I must keep if I want to be responsible, independent in the way that I want, is that I have to keep I'm responsible for my troubles. And when I tell someone about that, I don't let that spill on them. And so you can tell them like that, okay, so I could do this. It's expensive to do this. It's going to take a lot of time. And I'm going to have to charge this much for it because of this much time. And they go, oh, someone can get it down the street. And then, like, I know you do this. Well, you should go use them then. Yeah. And then, because if that's within your budget,
find
I'm not going to hold it against you. But for like the kind of work that I'm doing and the market that I'm doing, this is what the rate is. If we can negotiate it in some way. Like if it's a long term, you figure out what will work for you. Like if you think this is going to be a recurring thing and you will commit on paper to 12 sessions at this price, I can give you the lower price. Because like you're thinking in exchange, I'm getting some guaranteed income over the next 12 months. And I can worry a little bit. That's worth something to me. I'm willing to do that. But you just can't let it linger there and let it kind of just be unresolved. So I think this is one reason why I don't get so much negative feedback on my blog posts, although I think they're just long and people don't read them, so they don't complain about them. But in general, what I try to do is like I'm saying I'm having this problem, and I follow up like, and this is what I'm going to do about it, and let's see what happens. So I'm kind of presenting a kind of I guess I'm showing them taking responsibility for my feelings and stuff like that, and trying to find the strategy that helps. And it doesn't appeal to everybody, but the people who I think get back to me, I think they appreciate it. They appreciate that I'm working through difficult problems in public, and that I'm being honest about it. And that's really all I want to do. But that's essential to my character. It's essential to tell the truth. And then I think with other companies who are not comfortable with the truths, they're covering up maybe, I don't know. It could be an insecurity, or they're just not interested. Not everyone is as feeling as I think you and I are. So like I care about things, and I have difficulty separating them from work or other things like this, and I'm deeply affected by other people's moods and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be a fit for a lot of companies like that, because of this or group things. But I mean, there are smaller groups. I think there are minority type of businesses, not like racial minorities, but there's a smaller number of mainstream things. It's much easier to go in someplace and buy something. Can you imagine a supermarket if everything you had to buy, you had to talk to some weepy person? It's like you go to the cereal aisle, and it says like, I'm looking, and it says, oh, can I help you? And I say like, yeah, I'm looking for something in the Cheerio range of cereals. It says, oh, Cheerios.
That's like going to an artist market.
That's right. That is an issue with artists. Sometimes you get that lament, the lament of the artist leaking through every transaction.
They don't know what to charge. They're too emotionally connected to their work. It's like,
and I think people want a clean transaction. They don't want to be burdened with stuff. And so if as independent creatives, when we're doing our thing, if we can alleviate people from making the transaction as clean as possible. So emotionally clean too. People don't trust emotion in that sense. But if you can be caring and at the same time, not strong, but if you don't leave that emotional residue on them, like you shake their hand and says, "Oh, weep, sad." You're like, "Oh,
I got sad story all over me."
It doesn't come off. Oh, now I feel terrible, but I
nice.
don't want to give the artist $500 because I need that.
Yep.
Yeah. So figuring out the clean transaction, maybe that's the takeaway from what I'm saying. But I think I'm rambling all enough. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out the way of not trying to live up to these expectations that I'm doing all this strategy stuff perfectly.
Yep.
I don't want to. So like if I wanted to redo my website like last year. It didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's all these things I had to do, and I felt terrible about not doing this. So why am I doing this? Why am I dragging my feet on this? I should be excited and motivated to this. I should feel like this. I should feel like this. I should feel like that. And I should, in the sense that I need to get this shit done. Otherwise, I'm going to die in the street when I'm old, right? Who's going to take care of me? On the other hand, maybe I don't need to be thinking such dire thoughts about it. And maybe I don't need to execute in this perfect way that I imagine.
Right.
So one of the things for 2018, when Groundhog Day comes around, that's when I do my New Year resolutions.
Yeah,
Groundhog Day resolution. This is the 12th year I'll be doing that. I'm going to try to create a system in which I remove those senses of responsibility from it, but still prods me toward being productive. Mm-hmm. And so some of the things I'm thinking about having, instead of counting like I'm working every day, I'm going to say like, what did I put in the bucket of stuff?
Right.
And if I just try to put something in the bucket, I think that takes care of the productivity. That's really what matters, stuff in the bucket.
Yeah.
I made this. See, there's a bunch of stuff in the bucket. And once you have stuff in the bucket, it's much easier to figure out what to do with it.
Yep.
But you need to be putting stuff in the bucket.
But stuff's got to go in there.
Stuff's got to go in there. And it doesn't have to be like 100 things a day like what I'm thinking.
Right.
It's so worrying less about the time it takes, worrying less about how well I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. You just have to make it, and as you make it, they get better. The thing, if you've never made it before, you don't know how it's going to take. So for you, it'd be like, let me try thinking of a new photo thing to make and sell. Mm-hmm. And like if I was doing that, like let me think about offering a new design service. It's stressful thinking like, what people are going to ask, what people will they like it, will they this or like this. But you had to deal with it, but maybe you don't have to deal with all at once. Maybe there's a way that you can approach it, and like if I can remove that resistance, that's telling me like the child version of me thinking like I'm gonna do it, and people are gonna yell at me.
Right? Yeah. Nobody's gonna like it. Nobody's gonna laugh at me. Gonna laugh at you.
So that's kind of the general idea of being less responsible. So what I'm doing is I'm trying not to say like there's this ideal machine, productive, efficient version of me that has 100% willpower that's reliable, 100% energy that's always available, that does things on time without complaining about it. I'm not going to try to be that person anymore.
That's corporate Dave in his corporate suit with his corporate tie and his corporate. Yeah. Exactly, right?
Yeah. But I need to be putting stuff in the bucket.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing with that. Yeah, we're at the 22-minute mark.
3 people are still watching.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Say hi.
Hey,
if you're watching, say hi. So we know.
Not sure it's the same people.
So we know who you are.
Yeah, it could be people. So let's see. What else is there? We're talking about the sharing community. In the last podcast, you were talking about the 2 photographer guys. Mm-hmm. You're talking about Zach Arias.
And Don Giannetti.
Don Giannetti.
Don Giannetti.
So sharing, I think, is something. I've already forgot his last name, so I'll just write Zach and other guy.
Don. Zach and Don.
Zach and Dawn.
Dawn.
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about this, so the thing that Zach is doing is like a closed community in which you pay to become part of it. That's great because like if there's that pay threshold, you're gonna get rid of all the schlubs.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the hardest thing about putting giving away free content, and I see it all the time especially with Zach. Mm-hmm. He's to the point where he gets so many people that are following what he does that when suddenly stuff stops, you get all these people that are like, well, where's all this free content that you owe me? Yeah. And it's like, whoa, take what I do when I do it and imply, figure out how that can work into your workflow or whatever. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that I'm obligated to constantly, and that seems to be what's going on in the internet thing. Like the more stuff you produce and put out there that people find valuable, the more they want it. So you can sort of see the shift of these community things. Like it kind of felt like that was eventually where it was going to head towards. Yeah. Because now it's like, okay, you know what? For X amount of dollars for 6 months, you pay, you become a member. I'm accessible all the time. So if you've got questions, boom. If you want to talk about light bulbs, if you want to talk about thimble collecting, we can do that, and you can waste your X amount of dollars. But you know, all of a sudden now it gets a little more personal. Yeah. And you don't have to produce the free content, I think, as frequently. Right. Because it's like, you know what? I got a bunch of people here that they're willing to work out, you know.
He's in a position where like people recognize him for what he does already.
Right. Yeah, so and it's such a stressful race. Just like, you know, like I like posting on Instagram the last like 3 weeks because this is the quiet time of the year and most of it is trying to throw out quotes and stuff. Yep. Like I've been posting pictures of toys and everything. And it's like, I haven't posted any like client work, you know, like any final work in a while. And I get stressed out. Like I did a headshot a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And I've processed a couple of shots and I was like, can I share these? And he was like, is that the whole shoot? And I'm like, well, no, but I just feel like I need to be like, hey, I'm still here. Somebody bought me a book. It's funny. It's about the original comedian Sid Caesar, not me. Yep. And the name of the book is Where Have I Been? Yeah. And like somebody gave it to me as a joke because of that, you know, like, oh, I haven't heard you around in a while. Here, I got this for you. And it's like, thanks for adding to the stress level. But you feel like, oh my God, I have to because it's like nowadays with the internet, like it's so easy to find something shiny. Like you have their attention for 10 seconds and then they're like, oh, let's go to this other shiny stuff. So it's like, you have to be like, no, I'm still here. I still exist. Look, I'm still taking pictures. And I've run into people too, where people are just kind of like, oh, really? Like you're still doing the photo thing? Like after all this, and it's like, wow, what is that? So it's like you feel like you have to like, no, I'm here. Like here's all my work, and here's what. So, and I but it's good in a way because I mean, it's not like I'm actively trying to make a collection of stuff, but it's nice when somebody finally discovers your work, and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, here's 18 years worth of stuff that you've done. Like you've, you know, but sucks to have to wait the 18 years for somebody to find you.
Yeah, well, it's. I guess that's the exciting thing about sharing. This is getting back to the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because I found that sharing is a really important part of me being who I am, and the sharing is how I've met all these wonderful connections. Like a lot of them. Some of them are just random, like I ran into you, like however many years ago. Right. That was a long time ago. When you think about it, all your best friends are people you met randomly, right? Yeah. You didn't sign up for a subscription service and you get once in a month. So I'll keep this one. The other one I'll send back. But like the people who find you have found you through your work. People who found me have found me through their work, and that only happened because I shared it. Yep. And so that's why that's a big part of my whole productivity mantra. The basic thing is you make stuff, and then you have to show it to someone, like in person. So you need to get that. You mean it's the portal for connection. Right. I'm trying to think of a Harry Potter version of that. Yeah, like they have the item that they use to port places. You grab it. And
what do they call that? The port something. Yeah, like something, the shoe that took them to the Quidditch Cup thing. Yeah, exactly. And so I think of the things that I make as those kind of devices. They're artifacts. They are handles, as someone put them to connect to you. And also I feel good about sharing. So I would say that of all the things that I share, you know, like this podcast, those live streams and stuff like that, I don't get very much back from it, like in terms of time. Like for like the time I get that, I maybe get like a few emails every once in a while on that. Yeah. But as the quality of my work grows and the more I share that's really distinct and good, I think I've noticed that there's been more quality feedback for things. Yeah. And if anything, there's more people now there who know about what I do and appreciate how I do it. Than there would have been if I hadn't done that. Right. Like people who are telling you, are you still doing the photo thing? Right. What are they doing? Right. Exactly. What are they? They're not. So you can't listen to those people, and you know this, and I know this, and it's good to remind ourselves. It is. We're creating our own world with its own rules, and in a sense, we're leaders of that. So we need to put out the positive energy for that. We need to be responsible for it. Yes. And try to have clean transactions that make people feel good about it. I like those pictures. I feel good when I talk to you.
So
Awesome.
awesome. So I guess that's another podcast in the bag.
That's awesome.
So thanks to Michael Bellar and the Asins Ensemble.
Yes, music provided by Michael Bellar and the Asins Ensemble. Visit him at michaelbellar.com.
Send him your love.
Send him your love. I am photographer Sid Caesar.
I'm Frank Dixon.
And we will see you next time. And now a musical interlude.
It's doubling up. It's flipping back to the routing. If I wasn't live streaming.
Boom.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
All right, we should do one more on geek stuff,
Okay.
toys and stuff.
Let me save this.
I think I think a toy came in today that's sitting in a car, so I'm gonna go
All
get
right. Okay.
that.
Okay. We'll do.
And I can talk about my posters.
There's another one. 2 in the bag. Someone's still watching. 2 in. Oops. Ow.
Keep watching. Keep watching.
2 in the bag. Going to do at least one more. Toys. Maybe Star Wars. This is getting a toy. Car. Okay. Why is this? It's actually connected? That's weird. Do not like. Why you connect automatically? I shouldn't do that. No, it's not connected. It's just stuck on. If I quit from it. Now I'm authenticated. Okay, now it'll go away. There we go. Do 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 do. Boom 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 boom. Da 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 ba da ba ba. Yeah.
It's cold out there.
It's stupidly cold. I don't like it. Ugh. Let me go get. We'll collect all our toys.
Toys!
Shit!
Hats!
Yeah, those there. For here. Where's... I had some other toys too. Where did I put them?
Toys.
Curry. Where did I put them? Oh, yeah, looking for these. Oh, the cat laid a ripe one. Nice. Talk about these.
What am I doing? I should have made an unboxing video.
Yeah. Do you ever make those?
No.
Unboxing videos?
No.
No? Alright. See the toys I haven't opened yet. It's terrible. Terrible.
Toys. And then we could set up the toy cam.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that was which one? This one?
Let's use that one for the toy.
Move that
Can
one
we?
close?
Yeah, we should be able to angle it down because this is pretty good for coverage, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, just move that one a little closer. I think I can get to it and move it closer to you. And oops. So next time we'll use that one. That will be our coverage camera. That works much better. And then this one will be the close cam. Although that one's probably, I guess that one's better because of the reach.
Yeah.
So I don't want to we'll fix it for next time. But this will be pretty close. Now you can go up and down like this.
And then which one does that show up on?
This is camera 1. Is it showing? Oh, that's what let's look like over here. I'll move that to the big screen so we can see it.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll put OBS on that side. I'll move this onto here. Move this over there. So this is what's actually going out. Now remember, but since we're doing the podcast, we had to describe what we're looking at. But this will be fun for people who are watching the behind the scenes of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Nice.
Nerds.
All right, so we're aux cam is our side. That's our main view. We'll start on full aux. Alright. Let's see if that makes sense. This is number 80.
Sid's keys.
How come this didn't save? Okay, save. Save. It's just not showing up here for some reason. I will save this as 81. And load. Just making sure that this is
Copying audio data.
Hope you can see what I'm doing. I just want to make sure that the this is actually. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Where is the folder X? Default folder X. Recent folders. Podcasts. And why is this so big? I'll reload this other one first. Just making sure. I'm just worried of losing data. So that's 80. Let's make sure this is the right one. Things I was thinking about when you were talking about this. So the thing that Zach is doing is like a closed community in which you pay. Why is that so loud? I'll be processing these anyway. So save that one. This is 81, which we can remove all these audio tracks from. Okay, I don't think I'll even bother recording. I don't think we're not going to be playing back video for this, so we don't need that track recorded. 81. Okay, we're ready. I'm going to open on this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ready?
Ready spaghetti.
Okay, we'll start an aux. So, does that look right?
It does.
Good. All right, so here we go. I'll move this to the side. And I can actually make this go full screen. View full screen interface. All right, here we go. Is it already?
Yes, sir.
I forgot what I'm doing. Okay, this is still streaming.
Yes.
Oh wait, if I do this, I can't see what's going. Oh, okay, this is fine. All right, a 5, a 4. Oh crap! Did I actually delete the whole music track by accident? Where'd the music transport go?
Please.
Oh, I didn't back it up all the way. Okay.
During our technical difficulty.
I think start from here.
Start from here.
Okay, I'll try this again.
Okay.
A 5, a 4. What's going on? Something is wrong here. What's going on? Oh, it looks like I accidentally overwrote it.
Oh no.
Close this. I think the screen door is open. I hear it squeaking.
The what?
The screen door, I don't think you closed it.
Oh.
It's blowing in the wind.
Sorry.
That's right.
So take care of that.
How can I close this? Something's beeping at me. This ridiculous Macintosh broken interface. Something is preventing it from starting. Ugh, stupid dialog box. Alright, so I guess we want to delete. Open this. I wonder why this one's so big compared to the other one. This is 80. Let's make sure the entire music bed is in. Stereo aisle. Yeah, okay. I think I accidentally recorded on top of the music. So that's 80. And let me delete this. Let's save as 81. place. Let's see if that gets... Yeah, it's much smaller now. I think it pre-allocates the music, or pre-allocates the space if it still has stuff in there. Okay, so this should work now. Let's not record that. And this should be ready to go. Let's see get back. I'll see one to the bathroom. Doo-da, doo-da, boo 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 boom boo 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 boo. All right, so okay, I think we're ready to go. Okay. Ready? Doop doop doop. Everything's good. Do you have time for lunch today?
Time is it?
It's like 1.
I think so. Yeah.
What are you in the mood for?
I don't know. I mean, I'm always down for banh mi.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We could take him to the studio.
All right. Okay. So I think this is ready to go.
Okay. I am ready when you are.
Okay. Here's started the slate.
Bonk. Welcome to the podcast. I am photographer Sid Caesar.
And I'm designer Dave Seah.
And welcome on today's Thursday, January 25th, 2018. Although you might be listening to this at a later date.
Yeah,
this is our third podcast of the day. We're just cramming it. We're totally cramming it.
And I also just don't want to set everything up again. So we'll buy ourselves some time. But if we get guests on, we can we'll push these out.
Yeah.
And get someone on there.
Yes.
And there's a few people we have in mind get on this thing. So
and we feel guilty for not doing any. I think we did one last year. So.
I don't feel guilty at all.
No?
Yeah, I don't feel guilty.
I like doing these, and I feel bad when we don't do them.
Yeah.
You know, I like to use it because it keeps us connected.
Yeah.
You know, like I like being around you, and I like hanging around with you, and I like your personality, and I think we gel really well.
Yeah.
So when we don't do these, I feel bad because it's like, crap, I haven't seen Dave in a long time. Like, I use this as the impetus to get together with you, you know. So we'll put that
The feeling is mutual. So I'm glad that we're doing this today. Hopefully we'll be able to do this more frequently. So maybe we'll hook you with the live streaming. You know what we can do? We can actually simulcast this at Twitch at the same time. So we could, we could do a Let's Play or something like that.
I still do not. This is the old man in me. I still do not understand. I don't understand how people are making a living off of that. Some of it I do. Some of it, and it's totally sexist because there are certain people out there that are girl gamers that do Twitch, and they wear the things that push up their thing, and they're raking in the money. Like, I watch them and they're playing games. You know, like there's this dude that I was watching. He's playing PUBG. He's playing under, and as he's playing, there's a little thing in the bottom corner, and it shows you how much money people are donating, and he's making all kinds of money just. But that's just the old man in me being like, I don't understand this. Like, how are you making a living? I don't know.
No, so that's
it's
the
cool.
old man keeping you down.
Exactly. It's cool because it's like,
there's new ways of making money.
If only Twitch had existed when I played the NES back in 1988.
It's an interesting way of reaching out to people. So people who don't know what we're talking about online game streaming. Right. There's a service called Twitch in which you can watch other people playing games. Although they've expanded the kinds of programming they allow people to do to people who are drawing stuff, creative stuff.
Everything.
They have a new In Real Life channel, which I've actually put my Twitch stream on it. I think it's kind of a way of hanging out.
Yep.
And then if you're hanging out and you appreciate, like, just providing the way it says, you know what, there's someone out there who is like putting all the stuff out there for someone like me. Yeah. I want to throw them $1.
Yeah.
And then there's a few people who want to, like, they want the attention and they'll pay more money and things like that.
Right.
So it's interesting to watch, like, the popular streamers and how they handle that balance of, like, I don't feel beholden to you.
Right.
But I'm still appreciative of it. I think for people like you and me, like, I tend not to think of those kind of interactions as being very meaningful.
Yeah, it's weird. But like, I get I've watched people play games that I'm, like, if I'm interested in the game, I'll watch them just to see what the game is like.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it's like this is the same kind of stuff we did when I was younger, and I would sit there and Ryan would be playing a game and I'd just be like, no, just go to the and so you're doing that, but you're watching it and you're like, but yeah, I can that part I can totally. It's funny because there was a recent thing going on that went viral, and there was a girl who I guess is a big Twitch person or whatever.
Yeah.
And she contacted this hotel in Ireland, and she was like, "This is who I am, and I have billions of followers, and I'm going to be in Ireland for 3 days. So I was wondering if you would give me a free room so that I can talk about it on Twitch and everything." And it's been this Irish, the response from the hotel has been totally hilarious because they're like, you know what? No, and not only are we gonna ask you never to come to our hotel. Anybody that live streams or blogs, you're banned from our hotel. because she was like, well, I'm important, and so you should let me stay here for free. And they were like, who pays the person that's going to take care of your linens, washing your linens? And so it's kind of fascinating, but I just totally sidetracked that.
Yeah. So it reminds me of the early days of blogging.
Yeah.
And I guess that you had the same thing with Instagram. People are, this goes back to the old adage of like just how important eyeballs are in this economy. If people don't know about you, then they don't find you. And so like a lot of people who are in the position of just trying to do things like, if they have the eyeballs, they have some leverage. There is some legitimate power to it, but you don't have to be an ass about it.
Right. There's a level of like being a self-absorbed person.
Yeah.
And it's like that, we used to have a weekly Halo thing online on Wednesdays, and I had a friend of mine that used to do it, but he got into this Twitch streaming, and so he would Twitch stream while he was playing with us.
Yep.
And it was so irritating because he was constantly talking, and it was just like, who are you? And he was like, hey, thanks for the pledge. Thanks for the pledge. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for the pledge. So finally I was just like, I can't play with that because you're so distracting. You're not in the moment. You're catering to all these people that are watching. It was just weird.
Yeah. I can see that being annoying. Right.
But I guess it is kind of cool if, there's a game coming out and I want to see what it looks like or something, but I don't want to actually pay the $50 for the game. So you can just watch it. And some people, like, that's what they do. Like, they'll watch somebody play through the whole game, and then they're like, all right, that was it. That was the game. My experience.
I did that with that, what was that No Man's Sky game?
Oh, did you?
I was curious to see, because it was so hyped. That was that game where...
I bought that when it came out.
Oh, you suck.
When it first came out.
I'm so sorry. So I just wanted to see how it was. I looked at it and says, yep. It's exactly how I imagined it. Procedural generated planets that are boring as crap. And nothing has meaning because it's all algorithmically generated with no story or intent or anything.
Yeah, I got rid of that very, very quickly when I was like, this is the whole thing.
Yeah, unlike toys, which reward you forever.
Toys!
And so that's what we're going to talk about today, other than pop cultural.
There's a big
things.
What is that? There's a big thing. Can we get rid of that big thing?
The thing that's actually recording the podcast?
There we go. Just so I can see what's going on.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So let me switch to the other camera.
We were going to talk about toys because we've been, I've always collected toys. I'm a big toy jerk. And so I'm always buying them and taking pictures of them and stuff. And I was in one of the other podcasts we just done, I was talking about earlier in 2017. I had been buying a bunch of these toys based on the Alien movie. Yeah. And I was doing these whole little sets, and I'll like try to link to the images I was taking.
So the first one is
the alien thing. So this is here's our little tabletop camera. So this is one that just came in, and this is based off the character of Lambert from the 1978 movie Alien. Let's see if I can. And this one in particular is awesome because if you're familiar with the movie. In the movie, Lambert was just basically a big crybaby. She was constantly whining about everything. Yeah. And so they came out with a special interchangeable head. See if I can zoom in on that. Where she's like all worried, like she's got this like frowny face on her, like she's all upset and worried. And she's like, "Oh, something's gonna happen."
So let me look at it too. So I had to describe for the podcast listeners because they can't see anything.
So this particular, Lambert's one of the cast of the Nostromo. And the Nostromo in the original Alien movie is the big mining frigate that the movie opens on, and this is the people where the alien gets on this thing.
The first alien.
Yeah, the very first alien, 1970. So, and I in particular, I like this series of those figures because they're in their they call them compression suits, but it's like the space suits that they wear when they walk out and they find the derelict alien ship. Yeah, and then the egg gets stuck to the guy's face and everything. And I like them so much because I'm a big fan of the old heavy metal magazine from the 80s, the science fiction magazine.
Right.
And the compression shoots were heavily influenced by a European artist by the name of Mobius. And so the fact that they made an action figure based on these character designs, these figure designs, and I love it because it's all big and bulky, and like the helmets are these big round eggs, and it's just, I don't know, I love that design.
Yeah.
So they've been doing a whole, and basically it's the same body, just a different color suit with a different head, like.
Right.
But I just love the
interchangeable heads are cool.
Yeah, I love how in the head she's all like, oh, upset, because in the whole movie she's constantly crying, she's like, something stuck to him and let us inside, and
in space, no one can hear you scream. Right. In a remote region of the galaxy, the United States space tug Nostromo, carrying a cargo of mineral ore, makes its return journey to Earth. The ship's crew, 5 men, 2 women, and a cat, are awakened from their hypersleep chambers when Mother, the onboard computer, monitors a strange transmission. According to company law. According to company law, the crew must investigate any signal indicating possible intelligent life. What begins as a routine search mission quickly escalates into a nightmare of unimaginable terror.
Look at that. That's like the whole...
When the crew discovers and brings aboard
the whole
an extraterrestrial life form. Also available... weird-headed alien.
It's alien and blue alien.
Blue alien. I don't remember blue alien.
And we also just watched. So a documentary came out. We just watched it recently. It's based on the movie Dune.
Yeah.
But it was the director that originally wanted to make a Dune movie in 1975. Mm-hmm. And I can't pronounce his name correctly, but it's Jodorowsky's. His last name is Jodorowsky's. And the name of the documentary was Jodorowsky's Dune, and he's talking about how he had this, and they go through this whole thing, and it's incredible the amount of stuff that he wanted to do for this Dune movie, and it was going to be like nothing you'd ever seen before, and it was going to be like each character's family, like there's the Atreides family, and then there's the Baron Harkonnen family. Mm-hmm. Each family was going to have a separate group of musicians to make music just for them.
Wow.
And it was like Pink Floyd was on board. What? And then this other thing. And then what was really interesting was Dan O'Bannon, who's the guy that basically wrote the screenplay he came up with the first Alien film. Uh-huh. He had been brought over to do all the special effects, and he had done the special effects for a short film called Dark Star, which was John Carpenter's first movie. Yeah. And Dan O'Bannon had gone to school with him. So Dan O'Bannon had gone over to do all the special effects for this Dune. Yeah. And he had hired this Mobius guy to do all the character designs.
Really?
And he also hired H.R. Giger to do all the Harkonnen-related structures. So eventually what happened was the movie completely fell apart because this guy had such grand ideas. They were oh my God. But what was really interesting was that Dan O'Bannon, who came back and wrote the script for Alien, and Ridley Scott, who directed the first Alien movie, at the very same time this was going on, he had seen Mobius's design, and he was like, I want a heavy Mobius influence in my movie. And Giger went on to make the xenomorph that was in the first Alien movie that everybody knows. Huh. So it was interesting to watch how, because of that failed project, Alien came about. It was kind of neat. So it was kind of like, but I I like spacesuits anyways. I just think spacesuits are awesome, and I like big bulbous. I like toys that have removable hats or helmets. That's a big passion of mine. So they have big, stupid removable helmets, and
that's great.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So she's the last one. This is the newest one of the spacesuits. So I have all the spacesuits.
Is this a recent issue?
Yeah, this is brand new. This one just came out like 4 months ago. Oh, okay. I was just waiting for it to drop in price a little bit.
Right.
And so she's going to go up on the wall at the studio with the rest of them.
You're just going to leave them in the blister pack?
No, I open them up. I just I cut a little incision here so that I can just slide the tray out.
Nice,
but then I can still hang them up because they're still.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I'm not sure what to do with all these boxes for toys. I don't want to throw them out, but they just take up so much room.
Just get a shelf or something, or what I do is for the ones that don't have tabs, I just buy the little adhesive hanger tabs.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then I just put them on the boxes, and then I can hang the boxes on the wall.
That's genius. Okay, yeah.
I've been doing this for a while. Trust me.
Yeah. I'm relatively new to this. I've only started getting figures.
So what got you into getting figures? Because you've never had a lot of them around the house.
No. So what was it? The first one let me look. Let's try and see the shelf.
And you've been getting primarily ones that are based on Yamato?
No, it's been a variety of things. There's been three. The first one was.
Oh, camera fell down.
Yeah. So one of the first things that I got was, you want the other camera?
Yeah.
You want this one?
Just so we can see what we're.
Yeah. So let me go over and get.
Yeah, go get that.
Stuff. So I can still talk on this too, which is cool. So one of the things that I liked a lot was the Ghost in the Shell. Not the Mamoru Oshii movie, but the original manga.
Okay.
And I've always wanted one of the spider tank things, the Fujikomas or Tachikomas, depending on which series, because they're named something different in each iteration. In the manga, they're called something, but then for copyright purposes, it was called something else in the movie, and then in the series, it was called something else. So there's like at least 3 different names for these things. So these spider tanks here, and I said the idea of spending $50 on one of these things didn't appeal to me. But one day I said, I should at least have one spider tank.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they're all okay. That's great.
Yeah. So this is one of the less expensive ones. They have like $300 or $400 ones, but mid die cast, but. This one has like joint issues. But
yeah. How long have you had it?
Maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
Not that long. So I got this.
That's great.
And then after that, there was the. There's been a bunch of different Ghost in the Shell iterations, right? So there's the movie one, which the major Motoko is. I didn't like the character design in it. I don't like the Mamoru Oshii version of the major. Then there's the TV series, the standalone complex, and then Ghost in the Shell first standalone complex, and then second gig, and that was okay. That was like more of the manga style one, but I didn't find a figure there. And then Arise came out, which was a reboot of the telling of the story from the same studio that did the TV series, which I really liked.
Yep.
But it was like it had a different character design. So, and this is the Motoko from that, when she's like just getting started and putting together her squad.
Huh.
And I was looking at this and saying, that's a nice sculpt. And like unlike a lot of them, there's none of that fan service stuff happening on it. I mean, she still has kind of like the elongated leg stuff, but she looks like she's ready to take on challenges.
Right. Yeah.
And so like I liked that sculpt a lot. So I had these 2 of them, and then I started watching. What was it? Oh, there's an anime called. I'm blanking on this. Not Log Horizon, the other one, Sword Art Online.
Okay.
Which is an MMORPG-ish. It's the premise of the show is that there's all these people playing this VR MMORPG. And so they're and they get stuck in it. There's someone sabotages it, and no one can log out.
Yep.
If they try to force log out, then they die. That's the basic idea. There's something, that they explain it, but, so I was watching it again, and, I was watching the second one because it's on Netflix. I just recently resubbed to Netflix last year.
Yeah.
And so I remember Sword Art Online being lame, but, I saw one of my cousins. They have 2 of their daughters. They cosplay.
Yep.
And he made one of them a photon sword from Sword Art Online 2. And I don't remember what the photon sword was, so I rewatched it. I said, this is better than I remember it. And then I didn't buy any figures, but then years later, a year after that, I was
watch out for your cord.
Oh, right. This is why I need the wireless headset. But then, like a year later, I decided that watching it again, I said, I like this character design, so I wanted to have it. So this was the first real figure I bought.
Oh, okay.
So the one after that, which is the Kirito figure. This is
and this is a Figma.
This is a Figma. And Figma is a particular line from Good Smile, right?
Yeah, and these are highly articulate too. There's like 38,000 points of articulation, so you can move.
And they come with different heads and different
interchangeable
hair
faces
and stuff like this.
And little
stands. And so this is the androgynous version of the character, because in the first one, Kirito's a dude, but then you can do something like a character transfer from one game to another game.
Yeah.
So in the first one, they're all playing this fantasy game.
Yep.
And his skills in the fantasy game were like a very high sword agility. Mm-hmm. So it was the best swordsman, or one of the best swordsmen in the game. Hmm. And so then, but in the second one, he is invited to by some government agency to investigate mysterious deaths that are happening in this other one. But it's an online shooter.
Oh.
So he does a character transfer, and so all your stats transfer over, but like the way that they're portrayed are different. And then apparently he gets routed into like a rare body.
Okay.
And so like someone tries to buy it off of him immediately as soon as they go into it, and so that's why he looks different, like in this. And so that's cool. I like the design.
Yeah, I like the little holster that holds a gun on their belt.
Yeah, and so I actually did get, because like one of the other characters in that one is the person who befriends him and shows him how it works, how the game works.
Oh.
And so this is like the Shinon character, who's the sniper, which I haven't taken out of the box yet.
Giant sniper rifle.
Yeah, giant sniper rifles. I'm partial to giant sniper rifles in games.
Guns.
So
back of the package, you can see the examples.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So and these were in the first 12 episodes, or the first 6 episodes of the second Sword Art Online. That's their arc, and then it changes. You know how these anime series, the first half seems to be different than the second half. Yeah. And so like these will look good together on the shelf that I've set up for that.
Yeah, there's like 2 heads and 2 extra faces.
And try to figure out a way of like putting those together. And then like I was watching Little Witch Academia. You remember they had a Kickstarter a few years ago?
No.
So this was who was it? So was this Trigger? There's a studio that had made these this short animes about like this kind of a Harry Potterish situation. There's this like a non-magical girl who wants to learn magic because she saw when she was a little kid this performer named Shiny Chariot do this cool magic show. And she's, I want to learn magic and stuff like that. And so she gets in, but she's really terrible at it.
Oh.
And but her attitude is I find the character endearing, and so this is a cute anime.
Oh, this is a Nendroid? These things have become really popular over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So they're like little tiny, super deformed caricatures of the actual characters.
So I got that one. Apparently this was hard to get. I didn't realize it. I pre-ordered and forgot about it, and then 6 months later, like it came out. And it's like I was talking to one of my sister's friends who was like really into this stuff, and I mentioned on Twitter that I got this, and she was like, "Oh, I had to go get this for my kid." And she was, I fucked up. It's like, you can't get it. I missed the pre-order. And so she's getting all the other ones. But this is the one character I liked at it. So, and I thought I'd get that. And then the other ones were I started the other series I like. So it's basically I'm buying from series that I like. And this particular one, like I just happen to like that character art and these 2 character designs.
Yeah.
But the anime that really has made an impression on me is the Space Battleship Yamato 2199, which I think we've talked about before.
Yeah. So so I grew up with it being called. There was an American version in the early '80s called Star Blazers.
Yep.
Which was the Americanized version of Space Cruiser Yamato.
Yep.
And then they redid it. Like there's a lot of relaunches that have been going on. So it's the same premise. Like it takes place. It's a recreation of it's like a reboot. It's the first season, which is the quest for Iskandar stuff. Yep. So it's the same content, but the story is more fleshed out. And I haven't seen it yet because I'm one of these idiots that wants to see the dub, the American dub, rather than the subtitled one.
Yeah, once you explained it to me, it made sense. Like it is, you had to watch it twice if you're watching it.
I've been watching. Like I think a lot of it stems from when I first got it. Like when I was growing up, there was the Getter Robo series. Like there was the Force 5 series, which took 5 different robot series. There was Star Avengers, which was the Getter Robo series, and then there was Transor Z, and then there was Grendizer and Guy King and Vanguard Ace, and then they would Americanize them, and then Monday through Friday, like every Monday it was Guy King, every Tuesday it was Vanguard Ace.
Right.
So I grew up with that and Star Blazers, and that was like there was an hour block that I would watch every morning, and that was, oh my gosh, I love that. But then I kind of fell out of it because I didn't quite know what else there was, and I went to a comic book convention in 1987 or 88, and somebody was selling bootleg copies of the American dub for Akira before Streamline had released them out in the United States. So I kind of got back into that, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I had never seen anything with that kind of level of violence before. And what happened was Suncoast had started carrying they had
Suncoast.
2 rows of anime, but it was all what they would call OAVs because they didn't want to take a chance on series. So they were sticking to like 45-minute. And then at the same time, my local comic book store was buying Japanese laser discs of anime and making VHS copies, but those had no subtitles at all. So that was just straight Japanese language. And I think that was kind of why I was like, I had burned out on watching stuff where I was like, I don't understand what they're saying. I'm kind of only getting the gist of it. So then I kind of stopped buying for a long time, and then I didn't really get back into anime until somebody introduced me to Cowboy Bebop, and they were doing the American dub, and the dub was so good that I was like, and I can't watch really nice animation while I'm staring at the bottom of the screen trying to read the translations. Like and then I'm like, okay, let's go back and rewatch so dubs just work for me because I'm just lazy and I don't want to have to try to.
The dub quality has risen a lot. It used to be like really bad,
right?
You know,
there's still a lot of bad.
I'd say that most dubs are like, not that. They don't move me that much. The last one I saw was they did that Fathom Events thing for the that new Studio Ponoc movie that came out. So like Studio Ghibli had stopped production like in 2014. And a bunch of the animators and directors from there went and started a new company, started doing new movies. So they did it on the 18th, I think we went. So
really?
Interestingly, that era that you're talking about, getting laser discs and like not knowing what they were saying, my friend John Smith, who when I was an undergrad at WPI. He actually lives in Bedford, and I didn't know that.
Really?
So we've been like sort of neighbors for the past 18 years. And so we just recently reconnected through Facebook, and so I guess like now there's someone to go see anime with.
Nice.
He's got a family, but his kids are too young to see everything. So we went and saw this that witch. What was it called? The Witch's Flower or something like that. Yeah, you'll see it if you look on Studio Ponoc, something in the Witch's Flower. Mary Stewart and the Witch's Flower. So it's beautifully animated. The key animator on that I think that worked on Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Director, I think the last thing that was something Marnie. I don't.
When Marnie was here.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
No.
And then something else before that. So yeah. So that's. Remember those periods. The dub was pretty good. That's what I was going to say. That's where I was going with that. But he's also a subtitle purist.
Oh, really?
So like the reason we went to saw the dubbed one is because he brought his young daughter with him. And so she liked watching it. But it was a good dub. I was reminded. There's another series I will watch only dubbed, just because when we first saw it, we only saw the dub. There was no subtitle version available. We got used to the character. Then that was Giant Robo. Have you ever seen Giant Robo? Giant Robo's amazing. Oh my god. So good.
Tetsun?
Yeah, so it's got the giant robots, that big pharaoh Egyptian thing.
Yeah.
And I think they called him Johnny something back.
Johnny Sacco?
Yeah. So, but it was the first time I saw like a super robot cartoon in which like that had been remade. And it was really good. At least I really liked it. This was like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. But I remember when we were watching stuff in Laserdisc. That was when the very beginnings of the internet, before they had the internet. Oh my god, they were already out of time. I went and downloaded the scripts off BitNet, and these were poorly translated, but we would sort of get the gist of what was happening in the movie. And now finally I'm able to watch them. So it's because it's more accessible now. I remember when the Suncoast started having anime, the thing that kept its back was like it was so expensive to get a series. But now you can just watch stuff online and get like a Crunchyroll account or something, or pirate it,
These kids didn't know what it was like back then trying to get into stuff.
It's like it was hard. So I started getting some figures from it. This one is the Akira Yamamoto from. It was like one of the pilots in it. I don't think she was in the original series.
No. There wasn't. There was Nova. That was like really the only female in the original Star Wars.
There's a whole bunch of them now.
So these are obviously and they've changed quite a bit since.
It's so in the anime they don't look like this. One thing I don't like about this particular figure line. These are good small female.
There's
as well,
there's a very sexualization.
Yeah,
going.
so these are the Yamato Girls series.
Yeah.
And so the Nova in that one is like highly sexualized. That character Melda Dietz I don't think is in the original one.
No, none of these.
Yeah.
Nova's the only one that is. This girl and then that girl isn't either.
But like she's like my favorite other pilot. These are both like fighter pilots, and she's like super cool.
Huh.
And she's like really put together and like knows what she's doing and competent. But she kind of warms to the human side. You know, like even though the one base battle Yamato is 2198 is great because they expand everything they had to cut out of the first series.
Yep.
And it's an amazing retelling.
That's
You should just watch it and just not worry about this. Just look at the graphics.
Yeah.
Just to see. We'll do that sometime next time we do it.
We'll go through it.
But I guess that's the podcast. We didn't even get to talk about Star Wars. I had to wait for some other time.
Yeah, we'll have to do that in our next batch of stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Yay, toys.
I'm designer Dave Seah.
I am photographer and toy collector Sid Caesar.
Yeah. That's been the podcast for today. Music provided by
Michael Bellar and the As Is Ensemble.
Thank
Visit
you,
him at
Michael.
Bellar. Thank you as always. And have a good week, and we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Have a good week. And
Yep.
we will see everybody later.
All right. Hopefully do more than 3 of these this year.
Yes, we will definitely do more than 3 of these this year.
All right. Gotcha.
We will.
We will.
We will.
Will we?
Yes.
Okay. Bye. All right. That's the last one. So we are done recording podcasts today, so I'll start processing these things later. Thanks for watching. We're signing off. Hanging out. We're signing off. I should take a picture of the setup so I remember how we did this. I do like using that as a coverage camera better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can see there's a time delay, too, on the stream parts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm going to stop the stream now.
You could even
Save
take that little
recording.
flex arm over there and just attach it to the C-stand just to save extra floor space.
That's true.
So that
Yeah. Usually that camera, that should stay there on the arm because I use that for, I don't want to disassemble it and just move it. This is the one that, this one that was over there. That can come off of that. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so good. Good work.
So now does all of the video that we just did, is that recorded onto your YouTube page?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had to actually make it public. But
Okay.
there's like, you can see up here if you look on this screen. This is I'll move it over here so people who are still watching can see what we're talking about. Hit the screen button. So like in the upper, oops, not there, chat. You can see how we're still streaming right now, so it's about just about 2 hours of content.
Oh, wow.
There's one person watching right now. I'm sure people popped in and popped out.
Yep.
Just they were watching and said this is boring, and then they left.
Some of these guys.
One thing I want to do is like to make some more focused, polished content.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just talking about something. So, and those are more digestible. Those are the kind of videos that do well on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to be a YouTuber or a Twitch or like a streamer or something like this.
You don't want to be an influencer?
No, that's but that's it's something that I should play with just to try. Like, in what areas do I want to influence? Like, so the kind of things that I stand for are, I guess, pursuing your dreams and trying to create some sort of life out of it, and that life is connection and income and being able to add something to the world. Those are the three things I think that are important to me. And it's taken me a long time to figure out that it's just these 3 things. Yeah. And the way that you do it is fairly clear. You make things and you show it to people and you include people in what you're doing. Yep. And so this streaming stuff, this virtual co-working thing, this is a way of including people in what I'm doing. And they may not watch everything and they may find it boring, but I think some people just appreciate that I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. And, so your model might be somewhere along the path or next to it. I mean, I think you love toys, you love sharing your enthusiasm for things, you like being real with people, and you like being around real people. You can't stand being around people who are adopting auras of superiority or auras of being something that they are not because they are hiding something, or making you feel bad so they can feel superior.
Right.
You know, those are the kind of people we despise. And at the same time, we're highly sensitive to it because I think, oh, maybe there's something that they're saying. Maybe I'm not you're not doing this right. They seem so sure that like they have everything figured out. You know, join the fucking PPA or whatever. Like that will give you the playbook.
You'll never be successful unless you join.
Yeah, and you know they are right in that if you're trying to join that world, it does make a lot of sense. Follow the patterns for what other people are doing.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing for us to be creatives are to follow the path that we're doing, believe in it, and then find ways of proving it to ourselves that we're doing it the right way.
Right.
And there's a completely different set of metrics, and we had to build them ourselves. And that's where I think we're in the art world, or the artist wannabe world. That's the real challenge.
Right.
You're making something because you like doing it,
Yep.
but then there's this belief that you need to somehow justify it to other people.
Right.
You know, and the other people just aren't buying it because they have different values. The people who are cutting funding to the arts programs, or like wondering why we need a community arts center and things like this. And the artists go back, oh, but we need one because art's important. And then so why is it important? It's not important to me. And it says because it's not. Because it's not.
Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah, I mean, so if you're going to influence the culture like that, I think one thing that's undeniable is if you are capable of holding your own joy and sharing it like generously, and you're not being affected by other people going like, oh, I don't know what you're doing, or what you're doing is like is too hard, or it's no one's telling me that's the right thing to do, so I'm not going to do it. You know. But no, you just go idiotically be happy about what you're doing and sharing it. I think that has more of an effect than just arguing with people. You know, so this is this is my philosophy, I guess, this is how I'm justifying what I'm doing. I'm doing it not because like I'm trying to be smart about beating the system. I'm trying to, I guess, make my own system, and I'm doing that just by, I guess, pooping everywhere. I don't know. It's I'm just making this up as I go along. On that note, I'm going to cut the stream out. So, all you peoples out there, enjoy your pooping on things.
Yes, go poop
and
on things.
go poop. Make
things.
your mark on the world, and enjoy it. So, bye.